Hey guys, I'm joining you for Sunday school today from my car. And you might be thinking, that's really weird. Why would you do Sunday school from your car? Well, you're going to figure it out just a little bit later. But first, let's find out what our Bible verses are for today. We're going to head over to a very special guest today, Andrew, and he's going to lead us in some actions to our Bible verses. Like every week, you're going to get the first try just to watch Andrew do the actions, and then the second time we'll put the words up and you can join him in the actions. Let's head over to Andrew. Thanks, Andrew. John chapter 3, verse 16 to 17, and John chapter 8, verse 12. For this is how God loved the world. He gave his one and only Son, so that everyone who believes in him will not perish, but have eternal life. God sent his Son into the world, not to judge the world, but to save the world through him. Jesus spoke to the people once more and said, I am the light of the world. If you follow me, you won't have to walk in darkness, because you will have the light that leads to life. John chapter 3, verse 16 to 17, and John chapter 8, verse 12. For this is how God loved the world. He gave his one and only Son, so that everyone who believes in him will not perish, but have eternal life. God sent his Son into the world, not to judge the world, but to save the world through him. Jesus spoke to the people once more and said, I am the light of the world. If you follow me, you won't have to walk in darkness, because you will have the light that leads to life.
What's this? Obstacle course? How will I get through? Wait, this shouldn't be too hard. I can see. Whoa! What happened? Whoa! Who turned the lights out? Okay. Whoa! Maybe here? Whoa! Oh, it's too hard. What am I going to do? Oh. Whoa, I can see! Someone turned the lights back on. Oh yeah, I can see. Yes.
Those were some pretty big rocks that Andrew encountered there, don't you think? Yo, I was certain he was gonna trip on them and maybe hurt himself, maybe break his big toe or something. Cause you know, I broke my big toe once. Yeah, I was chasing my little brother around, my sibling. Yeah, I was chasing him around the house and I tripped and broke my big toe. It was really painful. I was on crutches for 8 weeks. Yeah, crazy, right? So just be careful, guys, when you chase your siblings around, okay? Yeah. You know, watching Andrew come to those rocks and then be blindfolded and not sure what to do, it got me thinking about some stories of people around the world that I've heard of before. You know, some people talk about how in their lives they came to a situation where it suddenly felt dark and they suddenly didn't know where to go and they didn't know what to do. And they prayed to Jesus and they asked him for help. And then either suddenly or over time, it's almost as if they were able to figure out where to go. It's almost as if the blindfold started coming off and they were able to see where to go. And they trusted Jesus to lead them through this difficult situation. But then I've also heard some stories of people who have never met Jesus before, and they kind of describe their lives as always dark. Always feels like there are rocks in front of them, always feels like there are obstacles where they might trip and hurt themselves. But then they met Jesus, and in meeting Jesus, suddenly they began to feel like they were making their way through, or the blindfold was coming off and they were able to see where to go. They were able to navigate their lives and navigate the situations they were going through. And you know, that connects to one of our verses that we heard today, John chapter 8, verse 12, where it says that Jesus is the light of the world who comes into the world. And Jesus says, whoever follows me will not walk in darkness, but have the light of life, which is pretty cool, right? Now, what does it mean for Jesus to be the light of the world? Well, let me explain it like this. Human beings all around the world, all of us, you and me, we have a tendency to do bad things, right? We have a tendency to sin. And we've been talking about sin over the last 2 weeks. And the problem with sin is it's kind of like that blindfold that covers our eyes. And it's kind of like those rocks on the ground. The sin that we do in our lives can sometimes stop us from seeing what we should be doing, stop us from seeing the bad things that we're doing. And sometimes the sin is like those rocks that can trip us up in our lives, right? And so God sent Jesus into the world as the light of the world to come and lead us through the rocks and take the blindfold off, much like that other person did for Andrew in his situation. And that other person, by the way, is Michael, Andrew's brother. And Michael came in and led Andrew through the rocks and eventually took the blindfold off. And that is how Jesus comes into our lives as the light of the world. Another way to think of this is to think of a flashlight on a cell phone. Maybe you have a cell phone, or your parents have a cell phone, or somebody around you has a cell phone, and you know sometimes you get into a dark situation, right? And you need to be able to see where to go, or you need to be able to find something, but you don't have a torch. So what do? We take our cell phones, we unlock our phones, all right, and then we switch on the torch option like that. There we go. And we see the light coming from our phones. And this is what's pretty cool, right? Pay attention. You can see the light, but also because of the light, you can see. And that's how Jesus is. Jesus is the light of the world that comes into the world that we can see, but also because of the light, we can see where to go. Now, you can spend your time looking at the light, like look at the light, but eventually it's going to hurt your eyes, and you really shouldn't do that. You need to actually turn it around and use it to see where to go. You know, I'm just thinking, a couple weeks ago, I was eating some peanuts and raisins, right? And I lost a few down the seat of my car, behind the seat, under the seat, somewhere there. I'm going to quickly look. Just give me 1 second. A couple weeks ago, I'm pretty hungry, so I think I would love a little snack. So I'm just going to see if I can find them under the chair here. Just give me a sec. Use my torch here. All right, just having a look. Oh, where are these peanuts and raisins? Hey! Check what I found, guys. Oh, yeah. Hold on. Here we go. Oh. Whew. Okay. That's why this was handy. Because I found myself, there you go, some snacks for this Sunday school lesson. Some peanuts and raisins from a couple weeks ago. So, oh yeah, that's so good. I love peanuts and raisins. especially when they're a little bit old, from a few weeks ago. Nah, I'm kidding, guys. They're not from a few weeks ago. I just put them there now for the lesson. But this is what's important about using the light, is you use the light. You don't just look at it, but you use the light to show you the way. And this is what Jesus is. He's the light of the world that came in so we can see Jesus. He came into our lives so we can see him, but also by him, using the light, we can see our lives, see the bad stuff that we need to work on, see the path ahead of us that we need to go, that we need to take. But it's also really important to remember that before God sent Jesus into the world, he had a problem. Remember the other Bible verse where God said he loves the entire world, right? He loves every single person. Well, this is the thing. God loves everyone. The problem is, you and I and all people around the world, we tend to do some bad stuff. And that bad stuff tends to keep us away from God. It's like that blindfold. And because of the blindfold, we can't see God. And so God has this problem. He loves us and he wants us to be in a relationship with him. He wants us to see him. But then we do these bad things. And these bad things blind us so that we can't see God. We can't get to him. And so what does God do? He sends Jesus as the light of the world, who comes into our situation like Michael did for Andrew, and he leads us out of the difficult situations, leads us away from the bad stuff we do, right? And he takes the blindfold off the bad stuff we do so that we can see him, but that we can also see the lives that we need to live for him, see how best we can live for Jesus. And as Jesus comes to lead us, really the only thing that you and me, you and I, the only thing that we need to do is just let Jesus lead us. Let Jesus take us to where we need to go. Let Jesus take the blindfold off. Like Andrew let Michael lead him through the rocks and let him take the blindfold off. All we need to do is just say, yes, Lord. Yes, Jesus. I want you to lead me, and I want you to take the blindfold off so that I can see you better, so that I can be in relationship with you, so that I can know who Jesus is and just how amazing he is and how much he loves us. Hey guys, welcome to the activity part of our lesson today. I hope you are enjoying Sunday school. I love Sunday school. I think it's so much fun, especially when we do cool activities like this. I'm going to show you how to make one of these. You might ask me, what is this? Well, this is a set of binoculars that I made out of some materials I have at home. I'm going to show you how to do this. So I'm going to put mine over here, and I'm going to tell you what you need first up. You will need 2 toilet rolls. See, these are not stuck together, okay? Once you've got your 2 toilet rolls, you will need some glue. I've got wood glue here. You can use prick glue. If you don't have glue, you can use sellotape. Or if you don't have sellotape, you might have staples. You can use staples. The whole idea is that we're going to want to stick these together, okay? So however way you can get them to stick, that is fine. And then you will also need a little bit of paper, because we all need paper. And then once you've got that, you're going to need some cool stuff for colors to decorate your stuff. Okay, so let's move this all out of the way. And I'm going to show you how to do this now. So the first thing you're going to do is grab your 2 toilet rolls, and you're going to put some glue down the edges of your toilet rolls. Alright, once you put your glue there, you're going to stick them together nice and even, and then you allow some time to dry. So maybe put them up against the wall like this, alright, and just press something against them to hold them together. Give them a few minutes until they're nice and dry. It may take a little bit of time to dry properly, but at least it'll be dry enough if you give it a few minutes so that you can work on them. Okay, once they're stuck together, let's see those over there, glue over there. Alright, you're then going to take your piece of paper, okay, and your toilet rolls, which are stuck together. So let me use these ones rather, because they're stuck together. Right. And then you're going to take a marker, and you're going to draw an outline of your binoculars that are stuck together, kind of like you see here. Alright, you're going to draw an outline, like a circular outline, and then you're going to create a little bit of extra space for a flap at the top. if you're not sure how to do this, just ask whoever's with you to help you do this, okay? And then once you've drawn it on, you are then going to cut it out. Guys, please remember with scissors, as with staples, as I mentioned earlier and in the previous lesson, please be very careful. Do not use them unless you have an adult with you, helping you and guiding you. Okay, cool. And then once you've got your pattern and you've cut it out, you're going to then take your toilet rolls and you're going to stick some glue on the toilet rolls on the top and on your flap here. Once you've done that, you're going to stick it down nice and tight. Again, allow some time to dry. And once it's dried, you're going to fold the flap over the top of your binoculars here. Okay, and then once it looks pretty much like this, you're then going to want to decorate it a little bit. So you can see I've got some decorations on mine. I've drawn some eyes on my flaps. We've got some patterns. And you're also going to want to put a message, 2 messages. The first is, Jesus lights the way. And the second is, because of Jesus, I can see. Because it's there to remind us about the lesson that before we met Jesus, we couldn't really see. We were blindfolded, right? And then, so like this, we were blindfolded, we couldn't see. But then we met Jesus and he came and he took the blindfold off so that we can see. He lights the way so that we can see and see him and see how best to live for him in this world. Okay, there you go, guys. And once you've got your cool binoculars, set them wherever you want to remind yourself about the lesson. And don't forget to send us some pictures of your handiwork. Right. Have a wonderful rest of the lesson, guys. Bye-bye.
Alrighty then, you know what time it is. It is time to do our quiz. Alright, guys. I'm feeling good about this one, hey? I'm gonna put on my hat the other way, show I'm serious, massage the muscles, stretch. Oh yeah, I'm ready. I'm ready for this. Got my game on, game face. Let's go. You ready for this quiz? Okay, here we go. Question number 1. You remember our first passage of the Bible, John chapter 3, verses 16 to 17. It says there that God sent Jesus for a specific reason. I'm going to give you 2 options, and then I'm going to give you 30 seconds to discuss it wherever you are, which option is right. Okay, option number 1, God sent Jesus because he loved us. Option number 1. Option number 2, God sent Jesus into the world because he was angry with us and he wanted to punish us. Which one do you think it is? 30 seconds. Let's go. Well done to those of you who got it. The answer is option number 1. God sent Jesus into the world. Why? Because he loved us. He loved the whole world, which is good news. Okay, question number 2. I hope you're ready. Here we go. Do you know what it is? You remember Andrew had the blindfold on, and then he had the rocks that he had to navigate through. What did the blindfold and the rocks represent? Do you remember? What do they represent? I'll give you a clue. It's another word for all the bad things we do. 30 seconds to discuss it. Let's go. Welcome back. I'm sure that one was pretty easy. I probably gave it away with my clue there, but the answer is sin. Yeah, sin is represented by the blindfold and the rocks that Andrew had to navigate. The sin in our lives can sometimes blind us from seeing God and trip us up as we try and get to God. Okay, and Jesus came to lead us through and take the blindfold off. Alrighty, question number 3. You remember we had another Bible verse, John chapter 8, verse 12. And it spoke about Jesus as a certain thing or in a certain way. So you're going to complete the sentence for me and fill in the missing word. Here we go. Jesus is the something of the world. Jesus is the missing word, fill that in, something of the world. I'll give you another 30 seconds. Here we go. I was thinking I should probably come up with more difficult questions. I'm sure these are way too easy for you guys. If you got it, well done. Jesus is the light of the world. Well done, guys. Well done on getting your quizzes correct. All right, guys. Thank you so much for joining us for Sunday School today. That's all we have for you today. I hope that you enjoyed yourself. I hope that you learned something. And I hope that this week, you will let Jesus lead you. You'll let him come alongside you and lead you through the obstacles, through the rocks, through the difficult situations, and allow him to take the blindfold off so that you could see him more clearly and so you could see how best to live for him. See you next time, guys. Bye-bye.